Kovalev could be in his prime. He could be doing the best that he's doing in his career. It's about me. It's 5, 6 years ago. You would have never looked at my life and said, this is how it's going to plan out. Lions in the camp.
Anthony, it's fight week. You're here.
Week.
All the talk is nearly over, and there's been an awful lot of talk. Have you felt like you've changed since you landed in Russia? Do you feel different?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm still in a room, 4 walls, or maybe more. Same thing for me.
One of the big themes, let's get right to it. One of the big themes in the build-up to this fight, and it goes back to stuff that you and Tundi have been saying for the last 3 or 4 years. And it's the criticism you and Tundi have had of the system. You can't win world titles with pity-patty pad work. You can't win world titles unless you get black eyes in sparring. You can't win world titles by pad work alone. Are you getting bored of that?
I just don't pay attention to it. We do what works for us. You know, sometimes I look on YouTube and I see Anthony Yarde sparring his trainer, Yarde. It's not sparring, it's just practice. You know, you practice certain things, you practice getting attacked, you practice countering, you practice attacking your opponent in intelligent ways. And again, the pad work is responsive. So again, you catch a shot, you counter over a shot, you slip shots, you dip shots for different combinations. But again, everyone's just got their own different methods. You know, when Muhammad Ali was turning professional, I'm sure a lot of trainers he went with, or even in the amateurs, they were saying, you're pulling your head too far back, your chin's up in the air, your hands are too low. Again, I'm not comparing myself to Muhammad Ali. I'm just saying everyone's got different methods that works for them. I hit hard, I hit extremely hard. And I feel like the pad work and the team around me has just enhanced everything.
I know well, I'm using the royal we. I know we didn't have a big amateur career. Once you turned pro, was it a tough transition though, to move into the ways of Tundi's training methods, the repetition, the amount of sacrifice that he demands of his fighter? Was that a tough transition? Were there blow up points?
Not really. I was a very hard worker anyway. I was always a person I was stubborn. I listen to my body. If there's a day when I don't want to do as much, I'll say. But again, Tunde's somebody that, again, he wanted it more than the fighters he had before. Not all of them, well, I can't talk for everybody, but he wanted it a lot. And he was strict in his approach. I came with my charming smile, my laughs and my jokes. And then again, me and Tunde just relaxed together and we moulded. We still have our petty arguments, just like everyone else does. But again, when you see a pack of lions, you know, sometimes you see them scratching each other. At the end of the day, they bump heads, keep it moving, and continue with the journey.
And it has been a journey.
Fantastic journey. The thing with me is the journey is what enlightens me, because the moment only lasts so long. The moment might last, you know, a couple of days, but the journey, it lasts for years. And that's the graft, the hard work, traveling to different countries, again, being in Russia, going out to Vegas, you know, to see different fighters, train, spar different people, going to LA, you know, being on a big show and not getting to fight. It's all part of it. It's all part of the journey. And then, yeah, when you look back at it, it's, you know, it's memories. Memories are irreplaceable. So when you look back at it, you smile and you say, yeah, look what's happened.
2 years ago, did you think you'd be at this point in the journey? Or 2 years ago, did you think we might be somewhere fighting for a title in 3 years? Or 2 years ago, did you think it would be 1 year?
To be honest, when I first started, I thought it would be a bit longer. I said 5 or 6 years. But again, I had a plan. I said, in the amateurs, when I first decided to start boxing, I said, in the amateurs, I'm just going to knock out everyone. It seemed so unrealistic when I said it. I said, I'm going to knock out everybody. I'm going to make a name for myself. Because, again, I started boxing when I was 19. It was again, when I looked at the champions, Floyd Mayweather was world champion at the age of 21. Mike Tyson was the youngest ever heavyweight champion. These are the guys I looked at. So I was like, you know, I might be too old. And then my mentality just said to myself, no, I want to do it a different way. I want to knock out everybody, make a name for myself, turn professional, do the same thing. And then, but I never put a time limit on anything because you don't know when it's going to happen. I don't feel like the timing is anything to do with us. I feel like you do your job and then, again, it just all falls into place.
It's about what you do, not about what the opponent is doing, or what the
100%.
other opponent's doing, or what the other opponent's doing.
I never focus on my opponent. If you look back, go back and look at my first ever interviews, I've never ever focused on my opponents. Most of the time I didn't even know their names. I just always focus on myself, my own progression, and how I'm performing in the ring, and the things I'm doing. Because I feel like if you're not doing the right things, or you get in the ring and you're not mentally and physically ready, again, it's only yourself you need to look at. It's not your opponent.
And have you been a harsh critic of your own performances? Have you left the
Always.
ring after a 3-round stoppage where the guy's been on the floor 4 times and sat in front of Tundi in the changing room and said, I'm not happy, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that? Does it work that way?
In the beginning, I was like that a lot. And again, me and Tunde go back and forth with certain things, and he said to me, no, go back and look at the tape. You're in there, so you're going to criticize yourself. But from what I saw, it was fantastic. But again, I'm one of them harsh critics. I always feel like I can do better. I always feel like I want to progress more than I already have. I'm a person that just beats on progression, and I've always been like that. It's like I'm a perfectionist. Obviously, perfection don't exist, but I'm still a perfectionist. I feel like if you seek perfection, you get close. Same way as if you shoot beyond the stars, at least you land somewhere good.
You in the area.
You're in the area, that's what I'm saying. But if you focus on something mild, you're going to get probably under-mild. So again, I shoot for things that are ridiculous, things that don't make sense.
I understand the not necessarily focusing on some of your early opponents because they were there to be tough and hard and see how quick you could get them out. That's standard, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't quite understand not focusing on Kovalev and not looking at some of Kovalev's best points, not considering and not studying him, or when you say you don't focus, does that mean you don't fixate, but you still study him? What does it mean? Just explain that a little bit for me.
I've seen Kovalev fight before. I've seen him live. I saw when he lost the fight against the Alvarez. That's the first and only time I've seen him fight live. I've seen him fight on TV before, just as a spectator. When I was an amateur, just watching boxing. Again, he was somebody that I was watching, and it's just been the same. I don't study people like Kovalev. His style is not like my style. I studied the old fighters, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. These kind of fighters, they got similar styles to me. Even Sugar Ray Leonard, the flamboyant and how he used to fight. I'm fighting Kovalev now. I'm not going to change anything. It's all trial and error. I feel like looking at someone like Kovalev, I'm sure him and his team are looking at me, trying to look for mistakes, but then again, that's where mistakes happen in the ring, because you're focusing on something I'm doing, and I might do something else. I just feel like that's how boxing goes.
Which makes so much sense. But you can see, if you write that down, close your eyes, imagine that as a tweet. That makes you sound arrogant, but it makes so much sense when you say it in person. But when you say, you do understand sometimes maybe the criticism. I know Tundi's really tough. The genius, as you call him, and I like to call him as well. I find, he's tough. He's a tough person, and he takes that criticism. I just wonder if perhaps it sometimes gets to you.
I feel like when it comes to criticism, I ignore it more than Tunde. Because again,
does he make out he ignores it?
Tunde's replied before. Okay. Tunde's responded before. He's responded to people's comments and things like that. You've never seen me comment because, again, these people don't exist to me. When I say I'm in my own little bubble, it just don't make sense. It's like, if I'm arguing with one person, I might as well argue with the world. You'll be there all day. Again, that's something, me and Tunde have bumped heads with. I'm like, why are you replying to these guys? Do you even know him? Like, this guy might be an anonymous person. He might be nobody. He might be your cousin pretending to be someone else.
It might be me just winding you up.
It might be Steve Bunch, tweeting and, under a different name. That for me is a losing battle. You can argue with someone. I have arguments, not arguments, but disagreements and, all the time. And there was a thing going around where certain people were saying a colour was blue and certain people were saying it was red or something like that.
I remember that.
Yeah, there was a thing going on.
It was clothing, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. It was a colour thing, and certain people genuinely saw it different. That just shows you the way your human brain works. You can't please everybody. So again, that's just something. I think this, you think that. We're still good people.
Can I just take you back a little bit to before we got onto the Tunde thing there? To back when you were ringside watching Alvarez beat
Yeah.
Kovalev in a very strange affair, really. Were you surprised by the result?
I'll be honest with you, I was, because I didn't know Alvarez.
much about
Tunde wasn't. Tunde kissed his teeth, clicked his fingers and said, he got it before us. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I feel like we're ready. We're ready for that fight. And I was like, well, why didn't we take it before? And he was like, it could be a matter of months. Literally, it could be a matter of months. It could be one more fight. But yeah, I feel like now's the time. And it's not really to do with Kovalev. Again, Kovalev could be in his prime. He could be doing the best that he's doing in his career. It's about me, how I'm preparing for fights. Again, people don't understand. People that don't box and people that don't know about boxing, boxing's a journey. You know, you learn as you go along. Again, not talking about it too much, but I had 12 amateur fights, limited experience, professional, 18 professional fights. And it's not only the fights, it's the occasions as well that you gain experience in. You know, going to different venues, going to different countries, going to, you know, people do things different. Different associations do things different. The WBO do things different. WBC do things different. So again, it's a journey. You learn as you go along.
It's interesting that about different associations and things you can do and things you can't do.
Yeah.
So in Russia, they have their own rules and they have their own federations. Plus, you're going to be walking out in what is effectively Kovalev's hometown. And I know, you're not focusing on him, but at some point as you walk out, and you'll be sucking it in and you'll both be smiling like this, but you'll have to look around and go, yep, this is a proper fight and I'm loving it. Is that what you'll do?
And that's it. That's exactly what it is. When you said what you said at the end, that's what it's been for me from the beginning. I'm one of them people. I'm driven by challenges, and again, to me, it's just fun. Literally, all of this to me is fun. Going out there and fighting, you know, because from the bell rings, 9 times out of 10, everything else disappears anyway. So again, it's just controlling yourself until that moment. Because when the bell rings and you start throwing punches, you forget about everything anyway. It's just what's installed in you, your mentality. How you approach the situation. After the second or third round, you're like, come, let's go. And same thing as when you're training. You know, you might start training, I might feel fatigued, I might be like, oh, not today, I just want to go to bed. Once I get going, there's no stopping me.
So we're in the ring.
Yes.
Everyone's left. There's the referee. There's Kovalev. There's you. He pulls you together. You go back to your corners. You walk out. Do you know what happens? Have you visualised it, or is that you just wait and see?
A bit of both. Because I'm a strong believer in it's going to be what it's going to be. You prepare yourself. You train your hardest. You do your homework. You do what you're meant to do, and then come fight night. It's going to be what it's going to be. I don't believe in magic globes and someone saying this is exactly how it's going to work or whatever. You have whatever you want to happen in your mind. And then if you work towards it, it comes to pass.
Would there be a sense of vindication for your methods, a vindication for the way you've trained, vindication for the way you've prepared in victory, or is it just about the win? You're not bothered about satisfying people or shutting people up. What's it with you?
It's for myself, my team, the people around me, the people that love and care about me. That's all. Because again, it's just like the thing of going back and forth on social media. You don't know these people. Again, there's still people out there saying Floyd Mayweather's rubbish after all he's accomplished. There were still people out there saying that Roy Jones wasn't the best at one point. There were still people out there saying, Chavez wasn't that good. It's laughable. But these are just people with preferences. And again, the people that I surround myself with, and again, myself, again, it's a journey. And again, when you enjoy the journey, you take time and appreciate it. Because again, it's 5-6 years ago. You would have never looked at my life and said, this is how it's going to plan out.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a fantasy journey, isn't it?
Fantasy journey.
Even from the start of being a pro, to be perfectly honest.
100%. And again, that's something, again, I feel like that's a lot to do with your state of mind, how you think, how you approach things. And even in adversity, again, when I went to LA and I was meant to be on this big show and everyone was talking about it and then I didn't get to fight because of different opponents and things like that, a lot of people were saying to me, oh, they gutted for me and things like that. I said, I'm not. I'm at that stage. I'm there. And And again, you just learn from it, you keep it moving, and then you fight for a world title.
And you win it.
And then you win
and
it.
you defend it.
Then you defend it.
Have you allowed yourself to look that far? Like
Of course.
defence in London, a defence here, a defence there? You started to think about that, haven't you?
I looked that far from when I started, from when I was an amateur. When I was an amateur, my amateur coach was Tony Cisse. I've had one amateur coach, one professional coach. I've got one amateur team, one professional team. And when I was amateur, there was a certain style that amateurs fight in. And Tony Cisse at the time was saying to me, listen, son, you got to be bouncing on your toes, son. You got to throw straight punches, son. You got to be in and out, son.
He's traditionally trained Tony Cisse.
Tradition. And that's how amateurs fight in England. But then when I looked at it, the fighters I was looking at who were the professionals, Mike Tyson and things like that, they didn't fight like that. You know, they planted their feet when they threw shots. They had a lot of head movement. Some of them had their hands down, moving. And I just said to Tony, I said, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to be a great amateur. I want to be a great professional. So I'm going to practice being a professional from now. And again, I met Tunde. Tunde had that system of professional boxing. He even said to me, you're an amateur, I don't train amateurs. Have you won anything? Again, I'm the kind of person, you put something in my mind or you challenge me, I'm going to go do it. So Tunde said, go and win something and then I'll train you. I think that was like the same month as Box Cup. I went and won the Box Cup. Haringey Box Cup. And I knocked out everyone as well. And then I came back and I said, yeah, I knocked out all my opponents. And I just walked off. And then Tunde started laughing. And he goes, okay, back at 5 a.m. in the morning. I kissed my teeth and then I was there.
What a tournament the Haringey Box Cup is.
Fantastic.
Katie Taylor and Joshua, you. It's just a phenomenal
It's a fantastic tournament. It's the way it's set out again.
Yeah.
That them kind of things there and, you know, them kind of atmospheres and situations help to build you and mold you because there's so much pressure. You know, when you're a novice, you've hardly had any fights. And again, I was a person, because from East London, I'm very known. So there's a lot of things of, they're just expected to win. Oh yeah, you're hench.
And Haringey's not far away.
It's not far away. It's still London. Oh, you're hench, yeah, just go in there and knock him out. Everyone just looks at your size and, yeah, just go in there and knock him out. So again, there's a pressure that people put on you. But again, the only pressure that exists is the pressure you put on yourself, in my world anyway.
So, final question, before we get down to the real business of getting in the ring. Where would that fantasy first defence be?
To be honest, wherever it's meant to be. Wherever it's meant to be. It will ideally be somewhere in England, because I'm from England. But again, wherever it's meant to be. I feel like coming to Russia is going to, you know, install another block into my life of experience, growth, and it's just a beautiful journey. You know, everything that's happened so far, the way I've dealt with it and the way I've challenged it, it's just part of growth. And a lot of people ask me how I think like this, and I say experience. The things I've been through in my life, it helps to mold you. And I feel like the way you approach your struggles and your good moments, it determines your character, it determines the kind of person you are. So that's just the way I think. You know, if you think of other people in other countries, you know, poverty countries, how they live. You know, I went to Thailand not too long ago, and I was just literally just looking at over the balcony and looking at how people lived, completely different. I went to Barcelona, people live completely different. So again, it's embracing other cultures and understanding that everyone lives different lifestyles.
It's the fighting journey of Anthony Yarde.
Yes.
By no means over yet. This is just a Russian pit stop.
100%, and it's going to be magnificent.
Now, before we let you go, can we just have one lions in the camp? Can we just give us one big bellow of lions in the camp?
It was going to happen anyway. It's got to be
but even so, I'm just preening you for it. I'm just getting you ready for it.
It's got to be authentic, I'll be honest with you. It's just got to be authentic.
It's got to come organically.
It just comes out. You can't look at a lion and say, come on, roar at me.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. There was a brilliant, last week, Tony put out a brilliant picture of you arriving in Russia. Do you remember, with the Russian cars, Russian vehicles? But then he had about six lions, a pride of lions walking down. That was people thought he was here.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
people thought it was genuine.
Me and Tunde again, I looked at him and I said, why did you post that? I said, you wasted it. We're meant to post that when we get to Russia. And then again, he was like, he looked at this guy and said, oh yeah, it's true, you know, you're right. I said, you're excited, man. Why are you posting it already? I don't even know about it. Again, that's something that I would have loved to have posted when I got here. That would have just been perfect. The lions have arrived, blocking traffic. Lions in the camp. Come on. Get me going. Get me to the gym. I need to go gym now.
You're going now. Anthony, thanks for your time.
Thank you.